wind howled like a wounded beast. Snow fell in heavy sheets, burying everything in white silence. Amid this storm, a lone figure trudged, her legs trembling, her arms wrapped tightly around a small bundle. Her name was Mireia, an alien woman from the distant world of Tsivara. She was not tall, slim, with soft lavender skin and deep silver eyes now dulled by exhaustion. Her child, barely 2 cycles old, whimpered in her arms. He was so small, so fragile. His name was Io, and he hadn't eaten in 2 days. Earth had become their last hope. Their ship had crashed weeks ago during the escape from a dying colony. Mireia had wandered, searching for life, warmth, anything, but Earth's cold wilderness offered nothing but endless white. Her knees gave out near a large tree, its roots twisted above the ground. She fell to her side, curling around Io, using her own body to block the wind. Her breathing slowed. Her heart grew heavy. She pulled her cloak tighter around the baby. "Forgive me, little one," she whispered, voice soft and hoarse. I tried. Snow piled on her shoulders. Her eyelids fluttered closed. The world faded. Darkness took her gently, like a lullaby. Then, warmth. Sudden, strange warmth, like a fire lighting inside her frozen body. She heard something, breathing, strong and steady. A voice low and human, whispering, "You're not dying today. I won't let you." Her eyes opened slowly. She blinked against the dim light, her vision blurry, breath catching in her throat. The snow was gone. The cold, too. All around her was a soft, orange glow, firelight. She lay on thick blankets, her body still trembling but no longer numb. Her child Io rested against her chest, wrapped in layers of cloth. His tiny chest moved with quiet breaths. Alive. A deep voice reached her ears again. "Easy now. You're safe." Mireia turned her head. A man sat by the fire, tending it with practiced care. He wasn't like the others she'd seen from afar, those armed and shouting in fear. He looked calm, thoughtful. His face was rugged, the kind of worn handsomeness that came from living close to the land. A thick coat draped his frame, his dark hair touched with snowmelt. He glanced at her and offered a small smile. "Didn't think I'd find anyone out there, especially with a baby." He nodded toward Io. "You're lucky I was hunting when I was." Mireia's voice cracked. "Where am I?" "My cabin, deep in the woods, no neighbors for miles." He stirred the fire. "Name's Rowan." She swallowed hard. "Rowan," he nodded. "And you?" "Mireia." He repeated it gently. "Mireia. That's a name I've never heard before." His eyes met hers. "You're not from here, are you?" She stiffened, fingers curling around her child. "No." Rowan didn't seem surprised. "Didn't think so. Your skin, your eyes." He trailed off, then softened his voice. "You don't have to explain. I don't scare easily." She stared at him, trying to understand this strange man. Kindness wasn't something she'd expected. She'd only seen fear and anger from his kind before. He stood, grabbed a steaming mug, and knelt beside her. "Here, it's just warm broth. You need it." She hesitated, then reached for it. Their fingers brushed. His hand was rough, but warm, steady. As she drank slowly, savoring the warmth filling her belly, she whispered, "Thank you." Rowan gave a quiet smile. "No thanks needed. You and your little one are safe here." For the first time in days, she believed it. The fire crackled softly through the night. Mireia sat close to it, Io resting peacefully in her arms. His cheeks had color again, his breathing strong and steady. She kept touching his tiny hands over and over, just to reassure herself he was real, alive. Rowan had cooked something simple, earth food. It smelled rich and strange, but it filled her with comfort. She ate slowly, and he watched her without pushing for answers. Silence stretched between them. Not awkward, just gentle. Like neither wanted to disturb the quiet safety they had found. "You looked like a ghost when I found you," Rowan said, at last. "I thought you were already gone." Mireia lowered her gaze. "I thought we were too." He shifted in his chair. "I didn't know what you were. I'd never seen anyone like you. But that child in your arms?" He looked directly at her. "That told me everything I needed to know." "What did it tell you?" she asked softly. "That you were a mother," he said simply. "And I couldn't leave a mother and her baby to freeze." Her throat tightened. No one on her homeworld would have spoken like this. Not during war, not during escape. But here. He was, this human, so far from her world, speaking as though hearts were the same, no matter the skin they wore. "You don't fear me?" she asked. He shrugged. "I was raised to help, not hate. You crash-landed here, didn't you?" She nodded. "Our ship was small. We were trying to flee a dying moon. Most didn't make it. I walked with Io, hoping Earth might be kind." She laughed bitterly. "It wasn't." Rowan's voice softened. "The land isn't cruel. It's just wild. Like a beast. You have to know how to live with it." "And you do?" He nodded. "My father taught me when I was young. After he passed, I stayed here. No cities, no noise, just the trees and the fire." He paused. "But sometimes, I wonder if I've been alone too long." Mireia looked at him then. Really looked. The lines on his face, the weariness in his shoulders, and something else. Loneliness. Deep, like hers. "I never expected a human to save me," she whispered. "And I never expected a woman from the stars to cry in my arms," Rowan replied. They shared a small, strange smile, fragile but growing. That night, Mireia didn't sleep from fear. She stayed awake watching the firelight on Rowan's face, listening to the soft rhythm of Io's breaths and the quiet strength of a human who had given them warmth without asking for anything. Something inside her began to thaw. The days passed gently, like slow-turning pages in a book neither of them wanted to close. Rowan showed Mireia how to tend the fire, how to grind herbs into calming tea, how to keep the wind from slipping through the walls. In return, she taught him how to wrap cloth the way her people did, to soothe a child's cough with gentle pressure on alien pressure points, and how to listen, not just with ears, but with presence. Io grew stronger, giggling now when Rowan made silly faces. Mireia watched with surprise the first time her son reached out his tiny arms toward the human man, babbling in joy. Rowan caught him easily and lifted him high, both of them laughing. "He likes you," she said, unable to hide her smile. "He's got good taste," Rowan replied with a wink, cradling the child like it came naturally. "Smart little guy." Mireia felt a warmth in her chest she hadn't felt since before the crash. It was unfamiliar, yet comforting. Trust, safety, maybe something more. That evening, as the wind danced outside and firelight bathed the wooden walls, she and Rowan sat close together on the rug, Io sleeping nearby. "Do you miss it?" Rowan asked softly. "Your world?" She stared into the flames. "Yes, but there's nothing left for us there. It's gone, burned." Her voice trembled. "We ran with only what we could carry. I carried him." Rowan's hand gently touched hers, not forceful, not possessive, just there. Solid and warm. "You carried the most important thing." She looked at his hand resting over hers. She didn't pull away. "Why are you kind to me?" she whispered. He met her eyes. "Because something in me said not to let you die. Because I was alone too, and maybe I didn't want to be anymore. Mireia felt something shift, a soft ache, not of pain, but longing. She studied his face, the way his jaw tightened when he tried to hide his own hurts, the way his voice grew quiet when he meant his words. No one had ever looked at her like this, not like a refugee or a stranger, just a woman. Slowly, without thinking, she leaned closer. Rowan didn't move away. Their foreheads touched, their eyes half closed, breathing each other in. "I never thought I'd find this here," she said, voice barely above a breath. "Me neither," he murmured, brushing a thumb across her fingers. "But maybe the cold brought us together so we could make something warm." They stayed that way for a long time, forehead to forehead, hearts listening. The fire beside them flickered brighter, but inside their chests, something even warmer had begun to burn. Winter slowly loosened its grip. The snow outside melted into patches of dark earth and new green. Trees whispered softly with fresh leaves, and the cabin felt no longer like a shelter from death, but a place where life had chosen to begin again. Mireia stood near the window one morning, holding Ayo in her arms. He babbled happily, reaching for the sunlight streaming through the glass. His skin, once pale with hunger, now glowed with health. She kissed his forehead, her heart full. Behind her, Rowan stirred the pot over the fire. The smell of something sweet filled the cabin. He had found wild berries nearby and made something like jam for her. She smiled softly. "You spoil me," she teased. He grinned over his shoulder. "You deserve it. Both of you." She turned, watching him move through the small home he had built with his own hands. There was strength in him, yes, but more than that, a quiet care, a steadiness that had wrapped around her like a second skin. Mireia walked to him and placed a hand on his chest. "Do you ever think this was meant to happen?" Rowan looked into her silver eyes. "Every day since I found you. I was ready to die out there," she said. "But I woke up in your arms. You warmed us both. You saved more than just our bodies." His voice was rough with emotion. "You gave me something too. You gave my life meaning again." They stood together, silent, hearts full. Later that evening, Rowan took them outside for the first time since the storm. The air was crisp, but no longer biting. Trees stretched up into a sky dusted with stars. Mireia held Ayo close while Rowan wrapped his arm gently around her shoulders. "Where I'm from," she said, "when someone saves your life, it is a bond stronger than blood." "I didn't save your life," Rowan replied, pressing a kiss to her temple. "You saved mine, too. You just don't know it." She looked up at him, her eyes shining. "Then let's stay. Not as strangers, not as survivors, but as something more." He smiled, his hand cradling the back of her head. "As a family." She nodded, tears gathering at the corners of her eyes. "Yes, a family." In that quiet clearing under the stars, Mireia kissed him for the first time. It was soft, slow, full of promises made without words. Beside them, Ayo gurgled in sleepy delight, his tiny hand reaching up toward the sky. They didn't need to run anymore. Not from war, not from cold, not from loneliness. They had found something rare, a human, an alien, a child, and the warmth between them would never fade.